Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, you are having a great Sunday. My name is Alicia, and I'm the host of Black Girl Den podcast, where media and womanhood meet. Okay, so this segment is called Lessons from the Den. This is where we talk about different things that we see on social media and how it affects women. So the goal of this live is for you to decide if Tyra Banks is a villain or a mean girl. Okay. So this could really be a series on its own, but we're gonna make it a little bit shorter just because of the time that we have and everything that is going on. Um, so yeah, I have a guest with me today, so that's gonna be exciting. We're going to bring her up. It is the one and only Nancy.
Well, welcome everybody.
Yes, thank you for joining. We just went live yesterday in
Mhm.
the hair salon and we talked about being single. So navigating that. So check that out after this one. But this one is all about the Tyra Banks uh America's Next Top Model in the documentary. So I do want to preface that I did not, you know, watch the show. So I didn't watch America's Next Top Model growing up, but I did watch America's Next Top Model, the documentary, and I've just done a little bit of research, about it. But before we start, I want to also, share this. Like, Tyra did not produce the show alone, so I don't know why she's getting all the smoke. But the way that she like brought modeling like with the American Idol and then the real world, like how she meshed it together, like that was actually a great idea. Like I really liked that how she said that she like meshed American Idol and the real world together, and then she got Kevin, whatever his name is, the one who did all the reality TV show. Um, and I like how she was like she was being told no because the color of her skin, but she was like she was not stopping. And thinking about that, like it still happens to this day. So thinking about the fact that like people are still being told no just because their color of skin or their gender is really insane to me. And so I just wanted to kind of get that out before we start and to share that this isn't really a recap of each episode because we're not doing that. We're really like reviewing and talking about Tyra Banks and the documentary as a whole. Okay. So we're going to do a little deep dive into Tyra Banks and then we're going to talk about the show. But first, I really want to talk about like why Netflix even chose to air this documentary. Like, what do you think about that? Like, why is this on Netflix?
Mm, like particularly like why is there a documentary or why is it on Netflix?
Both.
Mm. I think that it was good to have a documentary. I think that it's happened 25 years ago, like almost 30 years ago for real if we're really thinking about like it started with 2002 or something like that. And so I think it is time, after about 20 to 25 years of a show, like it is time to see kind of like where are people now, what's going on, what was the rise and fall, especially something that had such a big fan base. People would love to know like what happened to the show and what was occurring and what happened to the back because after it finished I see a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm ready for the American Idol, what's it called, documentary. I'm ready for a couple of other reality shows and their documentary, like Flavor of Love and all of these shows and seeing like, and so I think it's just like a nostalgia feeling of like people being like, oh my God, I remember this show, the time and the place and where I was located when this show came on. So I thought that that was a pretty, and Netflix is known for having documentaries. I wouldn't say Netflix has the best documentaries. I've watched like a couple of like HBO documentaries. Like they're pretty good at documentaries. Hulu has some. Hulu's documentaries a little bit sensational. I don't really like their documentaries that much. And I like Netflix documentaries. So I think that's the reason why. Did it turn out what it? I don't really know what the goal of the documentary was. Towards the end at season 3, like I was getting the goal, and then when Tyra said come for season 25, then I was like, I don't understand the goal of this documentary, but I do understand like why documentaries are made and I like them.
No, well, no, I understand why documentaries are made. I'm just like, I don't understand why this was a documentary, and I understand your perspective. But with me, because I never watched the show, she was talking about how in 2020 everybody's watching it, and so I feel like she
Mm-hmm.
was trying to like
Mm-hmm.
say no, like this was like she was trying to say no, this was a good show. Like, why is everybody talking about it now? And she was trying to preface it like, oh, this is so good, and it's like let's bring it back, and it's like no, girl, it really wasn't good. So that's why I'm just like, why do we need to have that? Because like you were saying, like even with Netflix, like I know they don't produce it, but like Are we gonna have a documentary in 20 years about Love Is Blind? Are we gonna have a documentary about Love
Possibly.
Island? Are we gonna have a documentary about the Ultimatum? I
Possibly.
just feel like, but I feel like why wasn't America's Next Top Model? I think it was because everybody started watching in 2020. But like you said, we had Flavor of Love, we had Love and Hip Hop. Like those are
Mhm.
still on too, but not Flavor of Love.
Mhm.
And like Real Chance of Love. Like why wasn't any of those having documentaries? Like why did it have to start with America's Next Top Model? That's
Oh,
my question.
yeah, and I think that point is right. That's the point. So I think Tyra was missing that point. If the show came back on irrelevance, people started watching in 2020, and it started becoming a discussion. They're going to produce that. They're going to highlight that and make their money off of that. If something got a buzz, then let's make something, something out of it. So I think Tyra's not understanding, like, though people rewatched it and was like, it wasn't that great. I mean, when people were watching it too, everyone was like, these are kind of like insane challenges, low key and stuff like that. And people were, I believe, I kind of stopped watching after like I went to like college or a little bit before that, but people were kind of saying like, oh, that's kind of insane. And we saw how skinny the girls were, and we didn't forget how Tyra was talking to these ladies. So it was really important to see kind of like, I guess, confirmation of some of the backstage stuff that people heard about how the models were being treated, how models are in the industry, how Tyra Banks was. So I really think because it had a relevance in 2020, it was like, oh yeah, like why not make it like, because I watched
Even if it had bad, even what you say, even if it had bad press, like bad press is good press.
Yeah, exactly. Like Netflix did one on Abercrombie and Fitch. Like I haven't heard of Abercrombie and Fitch in so long, but I think it was getting Abercrombie and Fitch was having like a little bit of a resurgence. Sometimes I go in there, and so there, I guess that little bit of resurgence is like, okay, enough to be like, let's do a documentary, enough to talk about. Like even, we don't want to say his name too much, but the Epstein guy, like he even has like documentaries out there because there's a relevance coming back. I mean, like everybody knew. What'd you say?
No, keep going.
Oh yeah, it's like everybody knew he was like a bad guy, but because now it's like the hot topic to talk about, it's like let's just go ahead and do a documentary and let's talk about, like, even Diddy, right? Like,
yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. That's what I was
yeah, all of those got Diddy, R. Kelly. Like there was times where nobody talked about them, and then since they get like court cases and like people are starting to have a relevance, it's like, okay, let's profit off this relevance.
Yes, and that's what it is. It's like you're like again exploiting people for that. But even when we talk about that, because I didn't want to do it, but this girl was talking about something. Why are we talking about this documentary? Like y'all wasn't watching it every week. Like y'all wasn't doing this. Y'all wasn't doing this. Y'all wasn't seeing this. It's like at the end of the day, people have enablers all the time. Like take out Tyra Banks. I'm going to talk about this later on, but like take out let's take out Tyra Banks, but well no, like take her out and like put her up against like the Diddy and the R. Kellys. Basically, it's the same thing. All she wasn't doing is like sexually abusing them, I should say, if I can say it online. But even mentally abusive, like mental, like it's still the same thing as we go across the board. Yeah. So it's just like no, this is a real relevance, and this changed women's lives, good or bad, and sometimes more worse. So like they're like, oh, like don't look like you were watching. I never watched the show, like I said before. I heard about it. I think it went off like 2016, but I don't know. So, but even I was listening to another interview or whatever, and everybody knows Nina Parker, and Nina Parker was talking about like not that it was Tyra herself, but like talking about that girl with the gap. Like she ended up, like closing her gap and stuff like that, like times or whatever. And it's like, looking at the people who are like bigger or stuff like that, talking about the bigger, but it's like Tyra was trying to fight against the fashion industry to like make it more inclusive. Great idea, right?
Right.
Follow through.
Well, yeah. Yes. Great idea. I think that's a lot of the things with these shows, right? And that maybe that leads to our next I don't know, like what our next conversation, like there's always great intentions. Like when we create things, we're always creating for the betterment of the world, right? Like I want to improve. I mean, like hopefully that's the reason why you're creating something, is to improve something, or invent something is to improve something. What happens is that capitalism comes into it, production comes into it, greed, evil stuff comes into it, and then that your goal is like taken away. However, with Tyra Banks, if we'll get there too, I also don't really think she was a nice person either. Like, though she had this intention, like that was probably her stepping stone to like, because everybody's telling her no, she's like, I'm gonna show it. I don't even know. For me, I was like, I don't know if she really wanted to like highlight these models in the instance, but more so try to prove that she belongs in the fashion industry. For me, that's what I took it as. Because when some of the girls, and we'll talk about it, when some of the girls were like, she knew that I was struggling and didn't help me, then I'm like, she wasn't trying to help nobody.
She wasn't trying to help nobody. She was just trying to say, I feel like kind of thinking about it as like she was proving that she belonged. And I'll talk about that
Yeah.
actually in the Naomi, like she was proving
Mhm.
that she belonged by trying to say that she was trying to help others come in.
Exactly.
And it was not given.
No.
But I was like, yeah, she felt ostracized in the industry and she felt some type of way of
Mhm.
not being able to make it in the industry because of her skin color. And so I think they even call her plus size either. I'm like, I don't even see any that molecular
Mhm.
on her body, right? So
Mhm. Mhm.
but, but I
Mhm.
was watching a lot of reviews about her and different things like that. So we can get into that. But for this part, I went and I watched like the Naomi interview and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And thinking about colorism, but like Naomi was definitely darker than Tyra,
Yeah.
but Naomi got different opportunities than Tyra, even
Mm.
though a couple years later. And when I watched the interview, which was kind of not even an interview, I'm like, oh, I could see maybe how she felt. And
Mhm.
she thought a darker skinned woman got better opportunities than her. Then it makes you think
Colorism.
about, you said what?
Oh, I say colorism.
Colorism, yes, we're going to get to that. Then it makes me think about like how you were talking and treating these darker skinned women on your show.
Yeah.
And you might have not been doing it subconsciously, but it could come out like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think that that's also too because they were like getting pits against each other, like the industry, like there can only be one black woman, there only can one black woman on the top. And
Mhm.
she had like this one-sided beef with Naomi Campbell, but like she was like, "Oh, I grew up with you. Like I grew up with your magazines. I wanted to meet you. I wanted to meet you."
Mhm.
But then she brought her on the show, and they were like 3 years apart. But when she brought her on the show, like Naomi Campbell was the first black supermodel in the Vogue in France, like Time in Vogue in France. I was like, okay, period. I never
Mhm.
knew that, but
Mhm.
she even spoke about racial bias in the fashion industry.
Mhm.
First why I know Naomi Campbell was honestly because of Beyonce. No, because she said, "Do they know
Mhm.
Naomi Campbell? Walk now."
Yeah.
Walk,
No,
walk.
Naomi Campbell was that.
That's
Yeah.
all I know. But
Naomi Campbell was that
huh?
lady. Oh no, I was just saying Naomi Campbell is that lady.
Yes, like she's the bomb. And so
Mhm.
Tyra brought her on her show, and she didn't even have an audience for her.
Rude.
And then proceeded to grill her. And I was like,
Rude.
this is very interesting. Like, we could say, is she a villain? Like, that's what we're talking about. Is she a villain or is she a mean girl? Like, I don't know
Mhm.
necessarily about the villain part because there was so many people in the thing, but like they said, two things could be true. She could still not be a nice girl. And when I watched that conversation, basically, it should have been a one-on-one conversation because it was aired on TV, but Tyra was like, you know why? You know why I had a problem with you? You know why this happened? You know why this happened? Y'all could like literally look it up. Like,
Mhm. She probably didn't let Naomi talk, did
please,
she?
no. And she was like, do you remember this? Naomi was like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was just like, what? And
Yeah.
so then, so I was like, so what I connected was that I feel like she wanted to tear Naomi down because she was like, I did like this. What was wrong with you? Did you were you SA? Like, oh, you were there, but you didn't talk to me. But this, so she was asking her all these questions. And so then I was like, she looked up to Naomi Campbell, right? And
Mhm.
Naomi Campbell didn't really give her what she wanted. And I feel
Mhm.
like that ties into America Next Top Model. Tyra wanted to be that person that women looked up to, but then you go back and you was trying to change the narrative, but then you go back and you amplified it on the
You
show
perpetuated it.
where these girls was looking up to you, and now you're kind of quote unquote being a bully. Not that Naomi Campbell was a bully, it's just the only word that I could think of. It's like you're kind of like talking to them and like being nasty to
Oh,
them.
Tyra was being a bully.
Well, yeah, no, I was saying that I wasn't saying that Naomi Campbell was being a bully.
Naomi Campbell doesn't have a great
Oh,
doesn't have great people don't have great things to say about her either.
oh,
So
she doesn't. Well, yeah, I don't know her, so that. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know her, so I don't want to call her no bully because I don't know anything about her. But that's also too like why is it the narrative like they don't have any good thing when they're sticking up for themselves when they like if they're talking about racial, if they're talking about being the only woman in the room, like stuff like that. Like why does the women have to be like, oh, they always say there's not a lot of great things to say about these women.
yeah,
Why is it because they're standing up for themselves?
right, yeah,
Because
yeah,
they
that's
don't.
too.
Is it because they're not getting paid enough? Like Tyra said, she wasn't getting paid enough. She wasn't that. So, what is the real reason of why you feel like they're being bullied? And then they also say, like, regular people like don't also, you always don't want to meet your heroes because you just never know who they
Yeah,
are. So it's like
yeah,
you're infatuated with people. That's why you gotta like take the infatuation out
yeah,
as a person because that is. But it's also like, why do they get these bad reps? So I was
yeah.
just like, Tyra was grilling Naomi Campbell so bad, like she couldn't get the word out. But I was just like, I feel like Tyra had animosity towards Naomi because maybe kind of the color of her skin, because they say Naomi commands a
Right.
room and she was booked and busy and Tyra wasn't. So I was like, I
But
don't know.
then Tyra became booked and busy, right? And then we see that Tyra Banks eventually becomes, because Tyra Banks did this as like she started modeling as a very young girl. Most
15.
people start modeling as a very young girl, which is why America's Next Top Model is a different kind of show, because these girls are like 18. By 18, starting modeling, you're like an old lady in the modeling game. Like people start modeling at like 10, 12, 15 years old, right?
Mm.
Which is good or bad, right? I don't know, because even like we think of like Komora Lee Simmons, like Komora Lee Simmons had been modeling since she was like a 12-year-old girl, like very young and stuff, and Russell Simmons and all of that stuff, right? And so you start modeling at a very young age because that is just what it looks, it's what people want to sell. It's really creepy, but it's what people want to sell. Like, look at this young hot body in these clothes. Like people want to sell that
Oh,
forever and ever. And so I think that Tyra, for sure, I believe that Tyra looked up to Naomi just to find out that they're only like 3 or 4 years apart. It's kind of wild, but not wild if you're like, if Naomi's modeling at 16 and you're this 12-year-old girl, like you may look at her, right? You may
yeah,
look up.
she had like her cover girls on magazines. I didn't even
Hmm.
growing up.
Yeah, and I do think that maybe, I mean, most things probably are like colorism is involved. I think you met your hero and realize your hero isn't this great person and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's like, it is, why is it that every time we talk about Black women or something like that, it's like she wasn't great. But sometimes I want to acknowledge that like they don't be. Like, I love Black women. I do Black feminist work. Like, I think it's super important. But then sometimes we meet people and they're not that great. And they are the B word. And those systems and issues and stuff like that are the reasons why, like, they're not getting fair pay. They're not getting, fair access. They're not getting the cover shows that they need to be, and they're not getting the stuff they need to get. But then
That's why they make it. Like,
yeah. But then to turn around and do that to somebody else lets me know then you're not really that great of an individual, because I don't know, if I'm in that situation, I'm a great model and stuff like that. The system has, even in the work that I do, if the systems has broken, I love mentoring people. So if the system breaks me down and stuff like that, I'm not going to the next young girl that I mentor and being like, nope, I'm not going to give you the key to that access. Nope, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to keep it to my mouth. I want you to work for it, or start degrading them and being nasty to them.
mhm,
It doesn't need to get there. Like, if
mhm.
I had my thing is like, if I had it hard, I'm gonna let the next girl who I'm mentoring, whether young or older than me, have it easier. Like, girl, here's the stuff I know. Here's my paperwork. Here's what I did. Here's my essays. Here you go. Like, what am I doing that gatekeeping and being nasty and being rude just because why am I perpetuating the same systems that hurt me? And that's when I know, I don't know if you're not a great individual, or maybe you need to go sit on that therapist's couch and go have conversations of why you're not being that nice to people and why you're perpetuating the same kind of hurt that somebody else put on you.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say hurt people hurt people. I don't know if I necessarily
They
believe
do, but then those hurt people do need to go get work. I love that saying is great,
yeah, I'm
but
like,
also
they be
it
saying
doesn't
that.
allow people to go do the work they need to go do, because it's like, well,
Mhm.
she was hurt, that's why she hurt. That's fine. And then
Yeah.
now and go get hurt.
Yeah.
Our that man that's in prison, our Ellie, he was hurt, and then he perpetuated hurt. He needed to get help, and he wouldn't have perpetuated that hurt. You know what I'm saying? But he's a nasty, evil person.
Mhm. And I think that to that point is just like some people really are not good. So I'm not even holding that. But like once you've done so much, I can't see like you're like, I worked hard for this, I work hard for this. But you see that day to day, even at jobs. Like
Yeah,
I've had
that's what
Black
I'm saying.
women be nasty and rude to me at
Yeah,
jobs.
and it's not
Saying
necessary.
I'm not saying that women are all nice, but I'm just like in the sense of like, oh, these two models that they had to fight to get into rooms. Like,
Yeah.
why do they have to be looked at as like that? Or like, are y'all? Because what we talk about, or we didn't even talk about this, and I don't know her, but like, are they saying Janice Dickinson is mean? Are they saying like, I mean, they
Yeah.
are saying she's mean.
Yeah, they are.
Like, are they saying like they were saying that she was that like on the show? I don't know her in real life, but like
Right.
that might have been a bad example. But are they saying like the other white women? I mean, are they saying that everybody else when they stand and like they're like, I get paid this, I get paid that? They were
Mhm.
calling Taraji crazy because she was crying because she was trying to get some money. Like
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
have to fight for everything, and women are tired of fighting. So at the end of the day, if you're
Yeah.
fed up, you're fed up.
You're fed up, and I totally agree, because I know she's canceled too, but like Nicki Minaj will always talk about how it's like not fair for her to get compared to these men, and then she wasn't getting paid, she wasn't getting all this. Turn around and that she's mean. It's like that's the point, that's the part that I don't understand, is that like you
Mm.
could talk all day how the systems are affecting you, and they do, and as Black women, we're at the bottom of the totem pole. Why are we perpetuating this to the next group of people, whether women, men, like
But
why?
she's a bully. Like, why are you being mean to her?
Yes, and then why are you doing that? So Tyra, Naomi, Nikki, whoever, it's just like, why are we doing the same things that somebody else did that to you? Then I question like your authenticity and like you really wanting to do this work and really wanting to set us apart. And I know like systems and stuff when they affect us, they can really make us like not want to like become gatekeepers and doing all of that. But I feel like if the real intention is in your heart, like you wouldn't be that kind of person. Like we talk, we mentor, we do a lot of great work and we don't mind sharing information. I really don't understand the difficulties of like being like having worked with Black women who are being nasty or working with people that like I don't understand that. Like it took you forever to get here. Why are you treating me like this and being gross and mean to me? Like you're not a good person.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's what I was thinking, like with the subconscious thing about like Tyra. I was like, so she's like talking like, you know, she wanted to change, but is she really a good person? Because she was over here talking about this girl was ashy. This the girl didn't feel comfortable. She's like talking about you need to close your gap, like you need to close your gap, you need to do this, and it's just like what, like from one conversation or meeting, her inspiration turned into a negative experience, and you're going to make more negative experiences with the whole entire world. But also, I was going to say, you know, we at the end of the day, like the villain is production because like she probably wasn't going in like that, but it's like, oh, they seen it, they loved it. She wanted to gaslight, oh, they loved it, they loved it. And there's something about the psychology. We'll talk about this later, but like the psychology of like people wanting to see people get beat up and move. Like we're not watching Survivor.
No,
Survivor part 2 because they were surviving Tyra, child.
Yes. And I wondered that too. Like that was probably my main question, especially with the perpetuation of all that stuff. It's like, okay, I know production is not good. Like Ken Mock, that white lady, like UPN, all of that. I know those people were not great, and they probably were like, Tyra, you need to be a little harder, or you need to give us more TV and stuff. But at what point, like, I don't know, I have this conversation with my sisters. At what point are you like selling your soul? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, at one point, are you like, okay, for production, I'm gonna be me. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting. Like, at what point do you have to overdo that and just be that? Like, no, that's where I'm like, no, because I don't know. I think for myself, and I don't know, maybe $1 million were being thrown at me, but probably not because you're selling yourself from it. If they were like, Nancy, I need a little bit more pizzazz, I need you to be a little bit meaner, I'd be like, to be honest, I can't be because that's not who I am. So I feel like when you do that, when you become a little bit meaner or did that, then I'm like, that's you. That's you. Like, that's Tyra. That is production. But then at what point are you like selling your soul and then you're doing stuff that's not you?
That's what I was saying. I was like, I was going to ask, like, did she sell herself for the show? Because then she ended up like firing the people who she asked to be on the show, and they're like, we don't want her, we don't want them, we don't want them. Then she didn't even like call them, whatever. But then I was like,
exactly, didn't call Ms. J or anything. Didn't talk to Jay Manuelson, and I'm like, Tyra is Tyra is villain. She is me.
She said, I am disappointed. but on the other hand, it's like, so did you sell your soul? Like you wanted, you were firing the people who you asked to be on the show, but then they even got rid of you. So I'm just like, there's no like, what are you doing?
And that's why be mean? And that's why I'm like, then that has to be innately you, because why be mean? Why be nasty? At the end of the day, they're gonna also kick you out of there too. So there's no point. That's even with us working in corporate or working wherever we're working at, is that as much as our bosses be, my parents always taught me like, just do you and be who you are and be the nice person that you are, because like people might do you wrong, then people are gonna go. Like, you know, it's gonna sometimes feel like you're not the one to see me.
How they do me. I'm sorry, I ain't got there.
I genuinely like sometimes treat people how they treat you, but like at the end of the day, I genuinely like, this is such a like a blanket statement, but like you walk into the store and somebody already has an attitude with you, or somebody already doing something with you, and it's really like walking in like, this is you. Like, you know, those girls are just trying to be models. They were not, I mean, I don't know behind the scenes if they were being mean and nasty to Tyra, but they were just trying to be models, and Tyra was being nasty to them just for the show that you created, them to kick you off the show that you created. You know what I'm saying? Nastiness doesn't get you anywhere. And now look at how they're painting you, Tyra. Like, they're painting you like you are this villainous, evil person. Maybe you aren't, maybe you are, but at the end of the day, because you did that and you sold your soul and you worked with them like that, it's not a wrap for Tyra. Like, I'm sure she'll be fine. She's fine.
Well, she's in Australia, okay?
Yeah, but it's a wrap for her to maybe even try to bring up the next thing, like where she's trying to say there's a season 25, because that's why I'm like, what was the point of the documentary? Because she's believing she's getting the season 25. And this documentary is to show you, baby, you ain't getting no season
No,
25.
she might be, but that's why I was saying was the documentary. I was like, was she thinking that this was good? Like people are talking about it, so I'm gonna come back and bring it. And then when you see this, you're like, bring it back. I don't
That's what I'm saying. Then I'm like, then who would bring you back? Because if you went to go and sell this to UPN, CBS, NBC,
know.
they're all gonna go back to the documentary and be like, no.
And then let's talk about UP and how they were about to fail. Then they get black people to watch the show. They get these black people to do it.
All the black shows was on UPN. You remember?
Well,
1-on-1, half and half.
Mm-hmm. All of them. You wanted to get black viewership, and then you switch to CW, then you kick them all off. Forget y'all networks, period. Yeah, okay. Sure. But then I was like, because she has to keep proving herself. So I was like, because at the first season, they're like, you're not gonna be able to do it again. She's like, yes, we are. So I think that like got her like, no, I got like, and you gotta amp it up, you gotta bring it back. But then it's like, at what point do you stop proving yourself? And that's why I was like, I'm not about to be proving myself all the time. Like, what part do you stop proving yourself? And now you didn't have to prove yourself even more. And now you're trying to come up and prove yourself, being like, oh, well, no, it was good. Well, it was 20 years ago. Well, it was this year. Well, we did this. Well, and then I was like, you're literally perpetuating everything we're saying, like how we were talking about, like having people alter their appearance. Yeah. And I would say that I personally don't like when people apologize and they don't mean it. So I'm glad that she didn't apologize because she didn't mean it. But I was like, I think that she should apologize to the women on the show because one, you did give them false hope. But I also think Janice Dixon should apologize, calling the girl, saying her teeth was bad, saying that she looked like this. Like, I think they should apologize to those women. And I think that will hold better weight. And
I think that everyone should, like her, Ms. J, Ken Mock and stuff. And again, at the end of the day, if you don't mean it, please save your apology. Because even they even asked Nigel, they were like, I forgot the specific question, but he was like, at the time, I didn't feel sorry. Now I do. It's something like that. I think he was saying like, and in that room, like at the time I didn't feel sorry. And that like, I was like, that's real, because at the time he's not realizing the hurt that he's perpetuating, what he's doing as a photographer and stuff like that. But he was like, looking back on it, I can feel sad about it. And I think that's a real answer to him being like, at the time, I just couldn't believe what I was doing. And I just no, you didn't. No, because you was doing it.
But I'm like, Ken, whatever. He knew what he was doing because he was even saying it like, so apology from him. No, because he was like, people, they were like, oh, they're not going to want to watch Miles over. He's like, you have to do it like this. You have to have the story. So I was like, okay, I understand the storyline. But at the point, like, oh, this is a documentary. We just have to film everything. We have to. So if you film everything, where's the footage at now?
Yeah. And saying that you have to film everything, I just feel like that's sometimes a cop-out answer. Like, but that's why everything is a tier, because it's Tyra who's the host, who's an EP. It's Kim Mock who's the EP. But then it's UPN. It's that lady at UPN until they got that new person. That's also very like, I need the show is getting big. It's bringing UPN, and it's like it's them too. It's all like a systemic thing, and like it's easy to blame Tyra, which she deserves a lot of the blame too. But it's easy for her to be a scapegoat because she was the face. She's who like we don't know Kim Mock. We don't know who's over UPN. We know Tyra Banks, right? But at the end of the day, like all of those systems failed these women. So for these women to finish the show, be like some of them were winners, and then they get nothing out of it. They don't even get their what is it called, the modeling deal, but they're like, no, we're not.
They didn't even get it. Yeah, we're not even going to help you. And then
because you're from reality television, and we don't want you to be bigger than a program, essentially, or we don't believe you're a real model or something like that. Or could the TV is that we don't like Tyra Banks, and you came from Tyra Banks, we don't want you.
And then that's another thing. It's like,
Tyra knew that stuff, and for her to say, "I'm not going to say nothing about it," is evil.
So you're to humble women again. They go through this process to be America's Next Top Model, and then being like, "Oh no, you're not good enough. Or oh, you come from this." It's like, what? That was the whole goal of the show, was for me to be a model. And then she was like, I think it was Danny. She's like, she knew I was struggling. And she said she didn't help me. I said,
and she called you and said that. That's when I was like, yeah, Tyra.
That's why I was like, I mean, you have to have receipts for everything. I'm like, no, what did Tyra really say? That's what I'm saying. She called her. She said it. She could say that. I'm not saying that she didn't say it.
That was really emotional, and that really did feel like that was real. And I think Danny wasn't the only one. She told that specific story, but Danny wasn't the only one telling the story of like, I couldn't get work outside of this show.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like,
because I'm like, did Tyra really apologize? Because I'm like, she not apologizing, she not saying nothing. But I do understand that on the part. But then I feel like this is why I was like, we're gonna get into the documentary now, because I was just like, how much bad it was. There was good things, and I'm not saying that to like scapegoat it, but it's just like they were even saying that like some of the girls were like, I talked about my experience. I had that experience that some people experienced, but it's just like, were y'all trying to make Tyra the villain because y'all didn't even pay the contestants? So again, you're using their stories for capitalism to spin your own narrative. Why wasn't there shown any like good like Eva said that she wasn't, she said I was on the show and I didn't get contacted, so when you hear that and you hear those things, it's like, okay, so why didn't we get the whole story? Because you're spinning your narrative for your own
documentary.
Basically you're weaponizing their trauma, the contestants who was on there again, for your own gain.
Yeah. And I think that's the point of a documentary. Like, documentaries are one-sided, right? Like if you watch a documentary, it's either the side of the victim or it's the side of the perpetrator. It's hardly that it's ever a neutral documentary. It's ever that it's hardly you either on one side or you on the other side. And so I think you have to sometimes watch documentaries very carefully and be careful of what you're watching, and like if you've watched it. So I'm not so and things. So I think that's how to even take this documentary. Like, it was clearly to highlight that America's Next Top Model was this like evil show and stuff like that, and it wasn't a great show, right? But however, Eva was like, I didn't have a bad experience, but you also didn't come on. I don't know if they called her or not. Maybe they called her and she didn't say anything, but you also didn't interview for the documentary.
No, she's saying that they didn't reach out to her.
Oh, okay, right. Maybe because she
did good. Someone said she's not biting off the hand that feeds her.
And I was just gonna say that, of course, she's not gonna sit and say anything that's really happened to her, because she's
still cool with Tyra.
Because you see, she's still good and doing great, right? Eva Marcella, she was on Real Housewives, she's doing great.
Yes.
Winnie Harlow, she's doing good. You see it in document. Yeah,
I never even knew they came from America's Next Top Model.
And so Takara did have issues, and I'm surprised she didn't come on the show. But Takara is probably like, I'm doing great and stuff like that. So obviously the documentary was trying to highlight one point of America's Next Top Model of like how bad it was. But I do think that the show did have problematic things. Like, I think that there was good things that came out of the show, sure, and there could be a bunch of girls that could tell you that did great things, but I do think it did do a lot of harm for these girls.
It did a lot of damage.
Yeah, and that's important to highlight, and that's also important to highlight. So while I would like a documentary, I think they said there is one on Hulu.
No, there's about to be another one coming out in March.
On Netflix?
No, not on Netflix. It's on some network.
Okay, yeah. So there might be another one that comes out that will highlight it, and so you decide where you want to kind of lay in and watching the show. But as someone who like viewed the show a little bit, I'm on both sides. I feel like there was good parts of it that was fun, but then there was also parts of it like, if the girls didn't get work after the end of this, then I don't know what the point of the show was.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. They didn't get work out of it. Highlighting one part, but that's again where I'm saying is like, why is Tyra the villain? Because like, it's just like, where's the grace for Tyra? Because she had a goal. She low-key achieved her goal, like, and I don't think she has any remorse about it, but she low-key achieved her goal. Like,
there's no grace.
Yeah, she wanted to start this. She wanted to complete it. But how we see, like, I honestly didn't know Winnie and Eva even came off it. Like I just said that. I didn't watch the show enough. And I don't know, because Winnie didn't win, right? She didn't win. And she's like, still like, she's like very, very popping.
Yeah.
So, well, she was, so I don't know if she is now.
But she also has a condition that allows her to pop. That's not the only reason why she popped.
Like, but like, different. No, yeah, it's like oh, the first vitiligo, like yes, and then Eva was short.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think to a certain extent, Tyra's goal was met, but there was damage. But I just don't particularly like that they're using America's Next Top Model to show the damage, because yes, people might have eating disorders, yes, people had all this stuff, but it's like, if we want to really get into it, it's the modeling industry and the fashion industry, as you said. They're doing 12-year-olds that are 20 pounds. You're doing music videos. Like I was saying, like, I didn't watch it. I don't really know if I had that much, like, I didn't I didn't have that much issues with confidence when I was younger, but I noticed in media that there wasn't darker skinned women there. There was no media representation. So so like we said, like it's a system. So you're talking about Tyra. Yes, she does not need grace for how she talked to those people and how she was nasty and rude, but to kind of shape the whole thing around it, like there's other shows like we could talk about Love and Hip Hop. We could talk about The Real World. Like we could talk about Bad Girls Club. Like, is there gonna be a documentary about that? Like they was fighting. They was like, it's a whole bunch of fighting and stuff. Like, what are we doing? We're in our 20s and we're fighting like basketball wise. So I was just like, what if we're gonna talk about damage to society and how it recreates and how we have systems? We need to look at all of the reality TV.
And they may be coming soon, right? Those reality shows, like this is the one. This is the one of the first reality shows that I remember having a documentary. I think I don't know if I'm sure there's other documentaries out there. I can't quite remember, but for me, at least, I'll speak for myself. This is the first one of the reality shows that I know has a documentary. It's also been 20 years. This is like reality television has been on for about maybe 30 plus. Like I think 1990 when Real World was like one of the first reality shows. Yeah. I think they had a documentary. So I think it's coming up because that's what people are saying. People are like, where's the American Idol one? Because baby, listen, where the American Idol people at? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if I want to see an American Idol.
I do. I do because I want to see where did these people end up and what was the show like. Yes, I do because I'm actually, though I'm a reality TV, I love reality television. These shows continue to be like, they're not what people think that they're going to do for your career. And that's unfortunate. And then that needs to be highlighted.
Underwood.
Yeah, they don't highlight
Ruben Sutter.
Right. They don't really highlight your career the way that they need to. And they can honestly like hinder your career. Depending on how you navigate. I mean, they're just special people. I think special people are from God. Like, I think there's just people that just make it because there's their God-given right, or they have something about them that God gave them. That's generally where I'm thinking it's coming from, but they don't really do great for your career. And so I think that needs to kind of be highlighted. And like, though I love reality television, I can love reality television and tell you that producers and stuff like that don't really care about what the product, what the people on the contestants are making out of it. Instead of
the show is really a product.
What'd you say?
Like the show is a product.
Exactly. And they're really just trying to make they're just trying to make the money, trying to make it big show, but they don't really care about the contestants. And I think that needs to be highlighted and discussed. I could love reality television and know that there's some parts of it that are really messed up, and that needs to be highlighted and discussed. So I would watch an American Idol documentary. I don't know
how much with American Idol, because I feel like they don't really follow you. Like, I mean, they was in this spot. I don't know, because
I think that they could follow you because they did follow you because they followed you, and where people go after that, they also followed you. They had like I don't know, challenges or something like that. Like each episode was like, who's getting eliminated, who's not getting eliminated. Having those discussions.
I was talking about, I guess, like the modeling. Like, I mean, like American.
How they were all in the same home.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know what we see about American Idol. It's just like, oh my gosh, it was harder. You would be in long lines. Like, I don't know. I was just like, what would they tell us on there? Like, hey, I didn't do nothing for my career, I guess. Yeah, but like, we know that.
But they would tell you that how maybe so-and-so was saying that I could sing, but I couldn't sing, how this impacted me, how this made me lose my confidence. Like, I think those kind of conversations will probably come up on those shows and stuff like that. And how, to kind of watch out for like predatory people in the music industry. Maybe those kind of conversations will come up.
And I think that this is going to bring me to our next point, because it was like, what America's Next Top Model taught us about the reality TV is basically like a humiliation ritual. When you go on these shows, they're humiliating you, but and these producers know it. So we're talking about the Kevin Mike, he did Making the Man, but it's like they know what to do and how to do it. These people everybody wants to be famous. So no matter if you show it, like they're talking about Cycle 25, people are from small towns. They want to have a chance to believe in their dreams. They want to have a chance to chase their dreams. And they prey on your vulnerability and whatever you say and what you do. And they do that, right? They put that right in your face. This opportunity means vulnerability. And so they want to chase their dreams. So within these girls or within these people are still going to do it because they're like, oh, I have one shot to make it. I have
Exactly.
So I'm just like, I don't know. Like, you can show it and you can see it, but it's like they're still reality TV, Married to Medicine, child. what is it called?
Real Housewives.
Housewives, like
Yeah, people are gonna, because that people want to become, they want to become stars, they want to become celebrities. Maybe people have things to sell. You know what I'm saying? If I had a little bit more to sell, it would depend on what kind of reality television and stuff like that. Maybe I would go on a reality television show. Who knows? Because like, yeah, like for instance, Married to Medicine. Like, can we believe that doctors are going on this show? Well, yeah, no, yes, because these doctors are trying to sell their practice and stuff like that. Also, with some drama and stuff like that. Yes, these wives are trying to tell you that I'm a doctor's wife. So I think that like there's a place for reality television, and we also know that like it also hurts and damages people. Honestly, just like scripted television, because just because you see somebody on a scripted, not the same thing, but similar, like you see someone on a script like Bridgerton or something like that, you may never see them on another show ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm,
that, the film and
TV industry, like
TV
entertainment industry.
industry is just
It's not
not a great industry. I mean, it's not saying it's not great, but it's just a cutthroat
a
industry
cutthroat
in
industry. And
general.
that's what I'm saying. Like we keep saying that it's a cutthroat. Why is nobody changing it? That's my thing about it. It's just like,
Money.
oh,
that
yeah,
money that money is never going to change. People see these people become successful, see these people making so much money, and then they're going to continue getting people to apply for these TV shows or these movies and stuff like that because people see money. I mean,
yeah, people see money, yeah. And I guess what I'm saying is, so it's like there's never going to be a thing where it's like nothing is genuine, nothing is happening, and that kind of takes you away from it because it's like it's money. People will do this, people will do that. Even when Tyra was coming to Kev, whatever, he was like, "What is she going to do? Is she just going to be a vanity?" I'm like, "Dang, that's so disrespectful." Like he was just like, "She isn't that bright." So you call her dumb because she's a model? Like, what are we saying?
yeah.
Discrediting women again. Like,
Ken Mock.
bye. What is his name? Oh,
Ken
I
Mock.
Kev. Child, Kev. I don't know the man name. I'm sorry, I never met that
We
man.
need to say his name.
You know, I ain't never seen that man. Oh, it's Ken. I don't know why I keep getting Kev. It's too close
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
Okay. But Kim Mock, yes. And he
Yeah.
was on there, he was talking and he knew it, like I guess he knew what he was doing. But he also knew as a producer, and then for Tyra to act like she didn't know what's going on, but then when we see her in the videos, I think I sent it to you, like we see her in the background editing and stuff like that. That kind of comes off of like not
Yeah.
authentic and
It's
not,
not genuine.
yeah, not
Tyra knew what she was doing, at least for her part. I'm not gonna speak that she knew everything that was going on, for instance, with Ken Mock and what Ken Mock had with UPN or what, you know what I'm saying? But Tyra knew her part. What I think with it is that, yeah, like I said, like it's just the layers thing. Like there's Tyra, who is the executive producer and the host of the show. There's Kim Mock, who's the executive producer, I'm sure, whoever. And then there's UPN, and then there's the TV, the film and TV industry. Like these systems and these pyramids of people is what really impacts the show. And as it kind of gets upper and upper, Tyra is just answering from a command of people. Like you
mhm,
kind of have to just realize she's answering from a command, though she's still problematic in her ways, though.
yeah.
Like, right, like
Mhm.
unless they show me a document, the next documentary is like Tyra helped me in this kind of way. It's always been known that Tyra has been. It's been known before this documentary. I think this documentary was a good what's it called, confirmation for a lot of people that like, oh, okay, yeah, I bet, because I heard that Tyra was like this, that, and the other.
Oh,
Because it
really?
was,
I never heard
huh?
anything about Tyra.
Yeah, we see you didn't watch the well, you didn't
Yeah.
watch the show, so it's like if you didn't watch the show, then you wouldn't get it. But it's like it's been a good confirmation, you know, like okay,
Oh,
yeah,
that she's not a good person. I
that Tyra was
honestly,
very not much of the person. Like the girl's been saying this, so
I,
watching this is not really. I don't
anything
know,
new.
some of the interviews is like some of the people I've listened to. It's not really a shock.
Yeah.
It's just good to hear from the contestants.
And yeah, I never knew Tyra, but baby, I said from that talk show, I watched two of them, and then she
Our
got
show,
on
whew,
there and showed that video, and Shani said she didn't want to see it. I was like, that is crazy. Like that's mean girl energy. Like
that's Mean
you're
Girl.
good,
Because
but
you also don't have to do that. Like
like,
I know that her talk show has a production as well. So like even like Wendy Williams, Sherry Shepherd, like Jennifer Hudson, like they have a producer. Like I don't know if you ever watch like Wendy Williams or Sherry Shepherd, you'll see like their producer kind of. I think Sherry Shepherd and Wendy Williams have the same producer, but the producer they will kind of show the producer and they'll wave and be like, hey,
yeah,
whatever and stuff like that. I know it's produced, But I believe you have a voice, and I believe that if Shandy said, "Don't show me that," you could easily say, "I'm not going to show you that." You wanted to do that, and that's the part where I'm like, where is the line between like selling your soul and being like a nice individual? Like, if a
Yeah.
girl told you like, "I don't really want to watch that," that's okay. You could just be like, "Oh, okay, all right. Well, I don't really want to talk to her anymore." Next girl, Alicia. So how blah, blah, blah. Instead of being like, "Nope, we're going to show the video," like
And then
that's
ask like, how do you feel about it? And I was like, that's how she talks to all her people. Like she talked to Naomi like that. Like ask her, like, girl, give it 5 seconds and sit down. And I was just like, I was like, y'all talking about Jennifer Hudson, child. Tyra Banks should have been canceled a long time ago with her talk show.
Yeah.
Y'all talk,
but yes, I do agree with that, and I don't want to blame any too much on like the times and stuff because I do remember Tyra Banks talk show too. the story and the history I have behind that is when I was in high school. I think it was like my junior, senior year or something like that. A group of girls and I'll have to text a couple of my friends. We would watch the Tyra Banks show because that's how ridiculous the show was. We'd be like the Tyra Banks talk show. We'd be like, "Oh, y'all ready? We're in class. Y'all ready to watch the Tyra Banks show?" And Tyra would do the most ridiculous things on that show. So Tyra has kind of always been like,
yeah. I was like, she's kind of corny.
Very.
Like, okay, y'all, we're going to do this today. We're going to like, I know because it's like, okay, is it her or is it like production?
It's like her. She's weird.
Is that her personality? She's like, and she's like trying to rap. She's like, "Yum, some, y'all going to Milan, girl." What?
She's weird.
So it's just like,
I wonder if she's an only child.
I was like, I said, is Tyra quirky?
I think yes, Tyra's very quirky. Tyra is very like interesting in her own, like she's very eccentric and in her own world. And I wonder if I think she's an only child. I'm not saying anything, but you know, like only child's like they get to be
whoever they want to be.
Yeah, and their parents gonna be like, "Baby, you the best thing out there." I'm like, "Baby, no." Your child is
weird. But yeah, so I was like, when she was, I said, "Baby, y'all talking about Jennifer Hudson, child? Y'all need to get the Tyra Banks there because I said, what is the talk show? Yes. What is the talk show?"
That's where I was getting to about the times, and I don't really like to always say the time. So that's why I was kind of getting to where my thing. I lost my train of thought. Is that I'm not always like a times person, but things are about the time. So I say that's because remember she was like, "Oh yeah, people started watching in 2020 and 2020." And they had a different lens of the show. When I swear to you that, like, I don't know if I watched it in 2002 because I was definitely in second grade. So I was not watching that show in 2002, but I'm pretty sure I probably started watching that show probably like 2005, 2006, like when I was like 6th or 7th grade. And I think in the times that kind of stuff was like, okay, blackface in a way.
And then the dude said that he was South African. He knew this was wrong. Huh?
Oh, Nigel, yeah. Like blackface.
I thought it was Jay. Not Miss J.
Oh, yeah. Jay Manuel, yeah.
Yeah, he's South African.
Yes. His family was like from South Africa. Yeah. And I think that was a thing of the times, like that around that time, like so like I was saying, like people are watching in 2020, and in 2020 we have like the Black what is it called? Black Lives Matters with Breonna Taylor, yes, lost the name. Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd. You know, we're starting to have those kind of conversations, those realizations. We talk about the Harvey Weinsteins. We're going into like all of these things that are happening. Those conversations were not being had back. Look, they weren't really being had like that back in the 2000s. And so I think that's why a lot of that stuff kind of just like past, and it was like a lot of the things of the past, and that's why you're like the Jennifer Hudson show could never dare to do something with Tyra. Yeah, they couldn't, because in 2026 you're not being able to do a lot of those things. If it was still at those times, possibly.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, yeah, cancer, but also they were saying that people were talking about it. They said Tyra was in chat rooms, but social media wasn't as heavy. Like, so we didn't have any social media to talk about it, so it was just like friends and stuff like that. So I can see it, but
yeah, and it was just friends and stuff.
Then I feel like she probably would like, they'd be like, "Girl, what are you doing? Like, what's going on?"
Right? Yeah, we could have some, but I social media, but I also think what events were happening. I don't know. And I was also a young girl.
Not even, I guess, but I'm saying because she was saying like people weren't saying nothing crazy, but it's like everybody had an opinion, but it wasn't plastered on social media.
I would agree. Okay, so yeah, I would agree that it was a social media thing and it wasn't plastered. And like again, like I said, '06. I'm like in sixth, seventh grade. I don't remember what events are happening, but I definitely think like the heightenedness of like racism, the Black Lives Matters, the Me Too movement, and a lot of those conversations coming up is the reason why we can't do as good. A lot of reasons why you can't have conversations and stuff. While back then, those conversations really weren't having
They was just
happened.
want to get in the room. They was like, "What time?"
Yeah. Or we think of some of these men who have been perpetuating the things, the Diddy's, the R. Kelly's, the Harvey Weinstein's. They've been doing those things since like the 90s, since the 2000s, and it was just not having those conversations were not being had, or people, Bill Cosby and stuff, they're not being had. So I really do think it was a thing of the times, and like culture is shaped by the times, like what time period are we in, and that's how like cultural conversations and stuff are shaped. I think it's social media, but I think it's like cultural things happening. Like if we're not seeing it happening or being aware of it happening, we're just kind of being like, keep going, keep going, keep
And they
going.
probably got to watch all the dang episodes because 2020 nobody was going anywhere.
Exactly,
I was,
exactly.
but it was not watching America's Next Top Model.
I don't remember where. I don't even remember where.
Well, I was at home looking for jobs. Okay, that's like y'all watch America's Next Top Model. I was trying to find me a job. Okay.
And I do like that we kind of, call out these things that are happening, but sometimes I don't want to say that, but like sometimes it's like, okay, do we also just watch things? Like I also feel like I love my gen. I don't know if it's my generation. Maybe I'm talking about.
No, it's the Gen Z. It's like
it's the Gen Z generation. I'm also like
everything.
What'd you say?
Like, do we watch things for fun or do we have to critique everything?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. And sure, call out problematic stuff. Like we should not have been black facing. They should not have been doing photos of people shooting themselves and stuff. But it's like
get into that.
Yeah. But everything is not a conversation to a child, because they have Gen Z be acting like they perfect, and they be having a lot of shit going on in their lives too. So I'm like, all right, come on, y'all.
But they tell the online, and they tell social media, so they don't care. They have no shame. They tell social media.
Exactly, yeah.
But I was gonna say that we can't get into that, because I was gonna say, like, even though we're not recapping, a couple of things that stood out to me was like Ken over here like asking Shannon, she's like, yeah, I'm from something. They're like, are you religious? She's like, yeah. And he's like, oh yes, this young Christian girl, are you a virgin? Like what?
Yeah.
Why are we asking that question?
Crazy stuff. Crazy.
And then Ebony, a dark-skinned black woman, they're like, oh, she's beautiful, she's this, she has her skin, but then they turn around and say that she don't have good skin or something like that. But then she was gay, and she told them, and they're like, oh yeah, you're gay, do you want to show your friend? Do you want, like, what? So it's just like these people are just talking, but you're making her whole thing about her sexuality. Then she gets this aggressive edit. So it's like the black woman's angry, the black woman's aggressive. Whole time Tyra was being what? Aggressive.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting too. When I think of, because again, it was like 2002. I need to maybe look, maybe one of us can, but like when reality television first started, which I think it was
1990s. It was not, yeah, I looked at it. It was like,
and it was in like 1995 or something, because I think Karamo was like the first openly gay man ever, maybe, or one of the first openly gay people. So anyways, I'm saying that to say is that like some of that stuff in early, it feels like kind of foreign, or kind of like, what, why are we highlighting that? But like
like the first one, she was like,
yeah, and Karamo was like one of the first openly gay men. So it's like in 2002, a lot of these conversations were like the first conversations, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, though, okay, we're in 2026, and it's like we talked about Gen Z, or we talk about us and stuff like that. It's like a lot of these are like, why are we highlighting that they're gay and stuff like that? We have to think about the times. Like this was in 2002. That was right after 9/11. They definitely weren't having conversations about some of these things. So some of these things were like, whoa, first time on like national television. Now we're in 2026. Ain't nothing the first time, baby. We got people on it.
It's not even the fact, like, and it's not even the fact that it's like the first time, or it's just like, not that like why you're highlighting that, but it's more like, why did you choose to use her to highlight that? I think, and then to like to use it as a storyline, but then in the end she was like, that girl's like, that's dangerous, like being in them times, like that's a dangerous thing. So it's like, if you knew that, why would you highlight that about her?
Or the way you highlight it.
Yeah.
I think you could highlight it, but it's the way you kind of highlighted about
she's
her.
gay. Like,
yeah, but I didn't think that one was a bad edit. I mean, from that, because I didn't watch that. Yeah, I didn't watch that because of 2002. I was like 8 years old, so I didn't watch that obviously. But I do think that like the ashiness and the lotion, and like how some of the girls were like, um, hey, can you make sure that you like wipe your lotion or wipe your
But that was so rude.
after you open the door and do all of that? I thought that that was pretty like that was not nice and stuff like that. But I know that reality television will because
They
one of the girls,
played
she was like,
together. I mean, again.
yeah, yeah, because one of the girls was from like season maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. Oh, what is her name? I forgot her name, but they were like, she's so big. She's so big. She was the black girl that was super skinny, but they're like, you're eating, aren't you? You're having food, aren't
Yes,
you?
yes,
And she
yes.
was Africa. I forgot her name, but in highlighting that, I mean, she was like, I
Was
was
it Kenya?
Kenya. Yes,
Yeah,
she was
I'm gonna
like,
talk
I
to
was
her.
eating the same bagel I've been eating the whole time, and they made it
Oh
look
yeah, and they were like doing the production to like seeing her eating the same bagel over and over again, and that's what I'm
so
saying.
it's like how it's edited and stuff like that is to
Yeah.
like highlight.
Mhm.
I also do think that it does feel like an attack on black women because it was an attack on black women for sure. But I also think mostly black women were the only ones to come back and like talk about their story. And so I think if a lot of the if some of the other girls, like Latino girls or white girls, came on the show, they would have highlighted some of their stories too. But it does feel like an attack on black women, probably because it was, but also like Danny, Kenya, 3 or 4 other black women came back.
Ebony.
Ebony,
Mhm.
they came back and talked
Well, there
about
was
it.
some other girls. The girl who got they said that guy say what's her name? I forgot her
I
name.
mean, Shandy, and then the girl who was like the
Like
first,
Ellie or yeah, the one
yeah, the girl who was the first plus size model.
the girl was a
But
side.
there's only 3 of them, right? Compared to like the 4 or 5 black women that they had, and then the one Latino girl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, they was talking about they were saying Janice Dixon, where's she at? She need to be apologizing to Shannon. She need to be apologizing. Oh, and to the Shannon, because Shannon had the teeth. And I said, baby, the teeth, it was just like they yanked them out. Baby, I couldn't watch it. I'm like, this
And
is
closed
gross.
her gap.
Yanked them out.
Yeah.
Like what? And then they said later on, that girl was like, let's make your gap bigger. What?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So
I think watching it, I was not surprised by any of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I know you're like, I didn't watch it. I was like, watching it, I remember these things. Like, I don't know if I remember them exactly from watching, because I feel like maybe when I watched, I was watching reruns. I can't remember because I was like a young girl watching these shows and stuff, and things like that. But I watched them later, and I wasn't surprised by them, but what I was more like infuriated again and like frustrated again and really upset of how they like did a lot of these women, and then come to find out that I think my most surprising was to come to find out these women didn't even have successful careers.
and
I
they
was,
it's like Tyra used it to boost up her ego to like help people.
yeah,
She didn't get nowhere.
that's the part where I was more so hurt, because I was like, all of these stories, we heard of them. These, they only really highlighted like the big major stories. We know about Danielle closing her gap. We know about we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you, Ebony and
I was like,
Shandy.
I didn't know about that, but I was like, that's a meme. And when you see like, we were rooting for you, like I
We
see
were
it as
all
a
rooting for
meme.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
I
remember that.
never knew where it came from. Now I know.
Yeah, now you know. And to know that these are where it all came from, but to know that these girls, even the ones that she didn't yell at the most to, most at, still didn't make it anywhere, but about 2 or 3 people, I'm like, your thing failed. Like, if we're doing statistics,
If
this
we
is
look at the
insignificant
data,
results.
if we
What's
look
that?
at the data, if we looked at the data,
Yeah, and we did statistics of this. This is insignificant results. Nobody even made it anywhere,
so
and
I
that's
look at their
crazy.
Instagram. People don't even have that many followers. They have like Ameritech, like they have it in their bios. But like you said, only a couple of them are really. I don't want to say they're not thriving or flourishing, but like in the model scene or whatever, like what they were doing. Like I
Yeah.
feel like one of the girls, Ebony, somebody just like on the farm, just like living doing chakras or something like that. I think I see.
Oh, Shandy. Shandy says she was with animals. She's doing work with, I mean, I don't know if somebody else said it, but Shandy was like she's doing work with animals and that she loves animals and stuff like that.
Oh yes, yes, yes. No, I'm talking about, it was a black girl. I don't know if it was Ebony or if it was some. I was looking them up because I don't know.
One of them, Kenya, is doing
Yeah,
stuff with
it's doing
models.
model. She's doing
She's still,
model work.
Danielle is trying to find out who she is.
Yes, yes.
I forgot what Ebony said. No, actually, I don't remember. And then there was a couple other black girls.
Tiffany the goat. Tiffany the goat. She
Oh,
talking.
Tiffany the Code, the one that was like the one Tyra yelled at.
Yes. Oh, that's who she yelled. She's like, we're rooting for you. Yeah, she was like, she was being mean. They were like, they had to trim that down and stuff like that. But meanwhile, Wendy Harlow didn't even win, and she got 9.9 million followers.
I feel how I feel about Winnie Harlow. I don't really know I think she's beautiful, but I don't really couldn't tell you if she was or not. But anyways, I don't want to get into that because that's skin
Not
condition
the
she
one
can't
to
control.
do the show. Okay, okay.
But I was gonna say that I forgot, but it's really sad. Or the Latino girl, I forgot her name, man.
What happened with her?
She ended up being like a real estate model, a real estate agent, or
Oh,
something
so
like that. Because
somebody's a
remember,
real agent in Florida. One of the black girls
and
are. Is
yeah,
it in Montgomery? Yeah, someone in the black.
yes, the Latino girl became a real estate agent in New York City, and I remember like they put her on the show because they didn't want to have a Latino person, and they ended up putting her, but she ended up being like nasty to Ebony, or at least the edit was showing that she was nasty to Ebony, and I was just like, this is
Oh,
crazy. I don't know if we're gonna get there yet, and I would like to talk about the part where like Miss J and Mr. J and them got fired, and then like yeah, so I don't
oh.
know. Yeah,
Do you want to talk about it now? We can.
sure.
Okay.
I just I felt really that part really kind of hurt me with like everybody kind of getting fired. And I think Tyra tried to cover herself up. And like I do think, like I said, it's system. And I don't think a lot of the stuff that happened was always Tyra's fault, but I do think Tyra had more of a say than she did. And when she was friends with Mr. J, really good friends with Mr. J, I'm sure she had like a foreknowing, like she had knowing that like they're gonna get rid of like all three of those people. And I feel like as the friend that she was to them, she should have
Was she
said
really a friend?
something. Hmm?
Was she really a friend? Do you think they really were friends?
Or I think that her and Mr. J were friends until he tried to quit. Because he was like, we would spend nights together. She would be at my house. We would do all
I
of
thought
these things.
that was Jay Manuel.
Jamie, yeah, Mr. J.
Oh, that is my bad. Mr. J, Mr. J. I'm sorry.
Or J Manuel, yeah, J
Okay,
Manuel.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
Because they would say Mr. J and Miss J. Yeah. So, anyways, but like J Manuel, like we would
Mm-hmm.
spend all these times together and be these great friends together, and then for me to send you this email, for you to say I'm disappointed, and then nothing really comes out of that. I think for that part really kind of hurt me.
Then they brought him back.
Then they brought him back and then made him, and then I was frustrated because he's like made me stay from season 10 to season 18 or whatever season that they made him stay to, and then for me to get fired, like knowing that I was ready to go, and then for them to lessen my role, do all of this stuff entirely, like you knew about that.
Well, he had a choice. So, like they said, people had a choice because why did he go back?
You
Why
have
would
well,
he
no,
go
no. He said legally. He said like they like sent him an email. They said like
Oh,
his
yeah, his
lawyers and stuff
lawyers
like
or something.
legally. I mean, you could
I
say
mean,
yeah.
huh?
No, I was just saying you could say like F legal, right? And like I'm gonna
Oh
continue.
yeah, that's what I was saying. I forgot it was the legal part because I was like, he did leave, but then they did say I didn't know that he was on that main season. But they're like, you have a choice, you have a choice. But I forgot the legal part. So yes,
Yeah, the legal part. And I think that we can say on the internet all day and say we have a choice, we have a choice. But if someone's legally threatening you that like this is what you have to do, you have to fulfill this contract. If not, and then he was like, I'm gonna get blacklisted.
contract. Yeah, he didn't want to get blacklisted.
Blacklisted. And I don't a lot of us that are in the comments and stuff like that making those comments, you don't work in creative industries to know what blacklisted means. Like your next pay and the way you feed yourself is off the next job that you do. Like unfortunately for us, we're in corporate America, our next check we're gonna get it, but like those people don't. So I don't like when people get in people's comments. Like when corporate people kind of get into creative people's comments, I'm like,
Yeah.
let's stay
Yeah,
out of it.
even when they're like, well, the women had a choice. Well, the women, but also the women didn't know they were 18. They were chasing their dreams. Like, so it's like, oh, when someone's like, oh, you know what you signed up for? It's like, no, I didn't know when I signed up for to be a mom that I would have to do this, do that. Like, I didn't know. I never knew. So like, they didn't know that they was gonna have crazy challenges. The challenges with the dang meat on their bodies.
Yes, the challenges were.
No, and that reminds me of Love Island. Like the
the
photo
challenges.
shoots, like they didn't know that that's what they were going to have to do. Like,
No.
didn't
You
want
don't know that. You don't know what you're gonna have to do, right? You're going on these shows wishing for the best, hoping that you don't get the worst things, on a prayer and a dream that you don't get these things. Of course, probably, I would say like maybe the first 4 or 5 seasons of a show, maybe 3, 4, 5 seasons of a show. I would say 2, but not necessarily, because sometimes while they're filming a season, they're putting like the next people in, and like while a season's being aired, they're filming another season. So like
they don't get to see that first season.
Yeah, that's what I said. I give it like 4 or 5 seasons of something. You don't really know what you're into or what's about to happen. You're like Oh, I'm supposed to be a model. Oh, I'm gonna find love on Love Island. Oh, I'm gonna find love on Love Is Blind.
Or especially if you don't see them, like you might just see an ad. Like I think that's what Shandy said. Like she never even watched the show.
Yeah,
She just seen it.
yeah.
You
You
just go
don't
to the
know that. So to say that, so that's why I don't fault really any of the girls that do the show or did the show, because when you're really thinking like this is gonna be my breakthrough, this is gonna be the thing that's gonna like, help me feed my family or let me be successful. Like I would never fault victims. You need to fault the
Mhm.
perpetrator, like
Yes.
UPN,
Mm-hmm.
the production company. Like you stop. We need to get away from the victims and the models and stuff,
Yes.
and like yeah.
Well, Tyra would be like, "I'm not a victim." She's like, she's on me. I forgot her
You're
name.
not a victim, you're a perpetrator.
Yeah, well, yeah. She was on the bank show. She's like, well, I don't want to say that we're victims. I don't want to say we're victims. That's funny. What were you going to say something about Miss J though? Before we keep going in there, you're talking about get the
Oh,
fight because Miss J.
yeah, I just thought that that was really sad. I just was just anyways, to get back to it, I was just like, it's just really sad that these relationships that were built kind of got dissolved. That's what I'm saying. Is Tyra the villain or the mean girl? She's both of those things. Like I feel like the conversation, like, is Tyra the villain mean girl, or is Tyra like
She
was
could be a villain in somebody else's story. She could be a mean girl in
or
somebody
is
else's
she trying to be a great person? And I'm like, I don't think that she really is that great of an individual, to be quite
story.
honest. You know what I'm saying? And that I feel like Miss J was in the hospital. Miss J was like, what is,
Where's the glass? Oh, she's about the glasses. She's like,
what is the iconic line?
what?
She will, or is not yet.
Oh,
Not
yes,
yet.
yes. Uh-huh.
Not yet.
Oh,
Right?
iconic.
That's so sad. Like, yeah, because it's not what I mean. Like, that's so sad. Like, not yet. Has Tyra texted you? Not
Not
yet.
yet. But no, she did text him. She
Oh, yeah,
texted.
has Tyra visited you or something like that?
No, yeah, Tyra busy. But then someone said that she probably texted him because the show was about to air.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
people are going to ask questions about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
My thing was that I was like, well, because I hear two folks were like, yeah, they were friends. They were like, do you go visit your coworkers? There's like, do you go meet your coworkers? But how you know, like, we're not part of that industry. We're not in there. But it's the fact that you brought them on here. And I think she kind of says that she's sad that she had let them go. But also, in my intent, I'm like, if they're letting them go, honey, you could be next. So I'm like,
no sacred cows, right?
You can't even protect yourself. So I mean, on that end, it's like I do feel for her. Like, okay, I had to let my friends go, but in her mind, she's still like, well, I still have to go. I still have to get it. Yeah, I didn't even know what that even meant, but they were saying that. But I was just like, you brought them into your universe to do this show.
Yeah.
Then for them to have to leave, then they thought that it was going to be more airings because they were like, oh, who's going to be the next person? But then they said the earrings dropped or something like that. So
yeah,
I was
it dropped.
that. So I was like, why did they really have to go?
And then a new guy came in and he wants something different. But do you know that happens on shows all the time?
Yeah, they want this white man, this white straight man, like they like whoever they want, they can get.
Like we watched The Game, like that TV show and stuff like that. You see these changes happen all the time because they think like, even on American Idol, like how many times have they had a new guest, or The Voice, and like how many times have they had these new guests, and America's Got Talent and stuff like that. And it's just like, keep what you have. Stop trying to change stuff. But I think some of these production companies, they make promises to people. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a producer, I'll be like, okay, so-and-so has been on this show forever, but like I promised Alicia that like once I become executive, I'm gonna put Alicia as the cameraman, or I'm gonna put Alicia as the makeup artist. So like, hey, you gotta get rid of so-and-so, and then next thing the person who's coming in to fill that role is my best friend. Like,
oh, that's
what we're gonna do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are being over promising people and stuff like that. And so that's why I think some of that, because I don't know who came into it. Rita Ora came into it, and Rita Ora is connected to, like, her husband is like a well-known producer, director of like TV shows and stuff like that. So it's like,
yeah, I didn't know why they got rid of the people. I was confused, but then I was just like, but then see, look, now you offer your own show. Now it's not even Tyra Banks anymore. They got the other person to do it now.
Yeah, I do think that sometimes it is time for some people to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? If the ratings are down, then you might think that, okay, the ratings are down because
I don't even think the ratings were down.
Oh, they said the ratings were down. I don't know.
They were down for the people. Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know who the ratings were down for, but I do think if the ratings are down, or sometimes after a while,
just be saying that, like, oh, the ratings are down because they've been up this whole time. Why would they?
And they do that, and I think that there's times for organizational change. Like it's okay to get rid of like it's okay to have new and improved people on the thing, but you should have let go of like everybody. It wasn't fair to just let go of those three. Like it was a conglomerate. Like you needed Tyra, Miss J, Nigel, Mr. J, and Ken Mock. All that group needed to go. It didn't need to be Ken. It didn't need to be the three and
Because
then the two.
Ken, yeah, they kept him, and
And
then
all
they
of them
left
needed
Tyra.
to
But I don't know if Ken did something happen to Ken later. Did he go somewhere
go.
else?
I don't know. He might still be on the show. Oh, well, the show's not there anymore.
Mhm.
But he might have still stayed because they didn't say anything about
Yeah,
him.
they ain't say nothing. I thought this is the part that I want to get into. We didn't talk about it that much, but I thought that using people's vulnerabilities
Yeah.
for photo shoots was very much so wild.
Yeah.
The lady having to do the gun violence scene, the photo shoot, the one who her mama got shot, and
Mhm.
then they had her pretend like she was a victim of gun violence.
Mhm.
Wild.
Yeah. I think so too. I think that the conversation is that what are we using people's vulnerability for? And that's in all shows, all types of shows. Is like what are we when I share this information,
And
do
I
you really
nothing.
yeah, I don't have to share. And do you really care about my information? And what are you gonna do with my information after this? Like the girl, even dang, I keep Kenya.
Uh-huh.
She's eating, and now they're making her take pictures with an elephant. Or now they're
Oh
saying,
yes, they said, oh, like she's big. It was an elephant, then it was something else.
yeah,
Like, what are you? What are
what
you
are we
bringing?
doing here? And I think that that's the part that where they really missed out on, like, what you're just perpetuating her on
I'm
these.
gonna be like, think about what's your vulnerability. I'm gonna be like that. I was so rich.
Yeah. I mean, but they did that on American Idol, right? Like
Yeah,
American Idol would be
our
like,
Love Is Blind. That's what they said they do on Love Is
on
Blind.
Love Is Blind too. American Idol would be like, tell me your deepest, darkest secret. Tell me how you got here
Okay,
on
so
this show.
I can't. I didn't learn how to reach. I was 13.
Exactly. And then be like, read this and
Oh,
sing
that's
it.
that one girl. That's why she left Tiffany. The whatever. She's like, read this. I was like, I was confused why she didn't read it, but she didn't know the words. So, or
She
something.
didn't know the words and she could have been overwhelmed. Like there's times where
Read it.
I don't know. There's sometimes in my life where like I've had different situations in my life where I'll be like, I am so overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. The most simplest task becomes the most hardest task because you have so much going on, and it doesn't do well for to have your boss or person over you telling you like, keep going, keep going. Like, girl,
Take a
I
step back.
am sad at the moment.
And I was just like, who came up with these challenges or these socials? Because like, did Tyra have to do that? And then I thought about like they were taking pictures where like around homeless people or something like that.
With men that were touching them.
Yeah, and then yeah, the men that was Kenya, like, and she's literally like, and that's what I was gonna say too. Like, people, that's why women don't even speak up for themselves because when the women were not protected, and for Tyra, I feel like she did not protect these women.
No
You
shit.
told them a dream, you said this, and like you did not protect them. And so Shandy and Kenya, like about the guys, the sex scenes, like there Kenya was uncomfortable. She's saying, and then you're gonna try to be like, well, sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do. Well, no, I'm telling you that this man is touching me, and I do not feel comfortable with that. And I was like, this is why women don't even speak up.
Yeah.
Because when they do, they get shunned.
Yeah.
So then when she's saying this, and then to mirror that as like she was cheating on her boyfriend or whatever, and all that stuff. Now, I'm not really gonna get into that, but filming that, like just saying that like where is that at on film? Y'all recording her and doing like, what are y'all doing right now? Like these girls are so vulnerable. Then they haven't ate. They hungry. They can't take a bite of nothing because you want them to be size 2. And I was like, showing this on the screen, like they don't know how much damage it did to them women, but also to society and girls. Like you said, like I wasn't watching it, I never watched it, but girls could be in 3rd, 5th, 4th grade. They think they're 100 pounds. I don't know how much you have to weigh in elementary, like 100 pounds. Like they like, oh my gosh, I'm so big. Like talking about people's weight, talking about people, their gap, their hair, changing their hair. Like
it was fun.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. I was just like, it was also just a fun show to watch too. I do think I was watching it. I wasn't watching it because I thought I would become a model or anything like that. I mean, maybe I thought I did because I was like a skinny, tall girl. But at the end of the day, it was just fun. Like, oh, what's the next challenge? What's the next challenge? Just to come to grow up and be like, man, some of these challenges were really messed up. They were like, that's what one of the journalist ladies that was on the on the documentary. She was like, I was watching it one way, but coming to grow up, it's like, wow, this show was really not that great. And because as a little girl, it's fun.
Yeah, and I guess that's also what I was gonna say too. Like we were younger, so we didn't watch it, but the impact is like if you were in middle school, if you were in high school, like and you're watching that, like that affects your body image, and it's like you're
Yeah.
calling size six size six girls, you're calling them plus size. What? And then like calling people ugly because they have gaps. A lot of people have gaps. Like people are really self-conscious about their gaps and stuff like that. And that impacts people's confidence. So like
Mm.
even if you're showing it as in like you're just thinking it to these girls, you're showing it across the world and you don't know how big of an impact that you have. And I think that that's also something that is sad that we see over and over and time
Yeah.
again in all these shows. You're showing stuff and people are relating to that because they have some type of connection. Some women didn't think that they were going to be models, but some girls did think they were models. But if they was 14 and they was 250 or whatever, they was like, well, I guess I'm not gonna be no model. Or even if they
Yeah.
was 200, I don't know. But it's like the bigger impact of the reality TV and what you did to society is bigger than even them women.
I do think so too, and I agree with that. That I think it's a combination for me. It's a combination of both because some of that conversations were already being had. Like you already knew that you weren't going to be a model probably because you were already a size 6, low key. I think that America's Next
modeling, but
huh?
what if you didn't even know about a
Yeah,
model?
yeah. I was gonna say like I think America's Next Top Model just kind of already perpetuated some of the stuff. The girlies were getting made fun. If you had a gap, you was already getting made fun of at school, right? And so like you thought that American Next, I don't know. I think that sometimes like I do think a lot of the fault is reality television, but I do think one of the conversations I always have is that reality television is a microcosm of what the society looks like already. Society was already talking about young girls with gaps. Society was talking about young dark skinned girls. I mean, America's Top Model wasn't going to confirm that I was a dark skinned girl. It was the boys at school that was calling me whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then like you said, you watch out on a TV show, and then they're also calling you, and you're just like, well, then I'm like, forget all of this stuff because it's like everybody's calling me this, but like a lot of that stuff, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like a lot of that stuff was like, yeah, I already knew all of that. Like that was already going on. All reality television does is just makes it like puts it in a smaller world. Yeah, it amplifies it, but it just puts in a smaller world the TV show of what life is. And that's why I'm like, okay, like some part of reality television obviously is like extra and can be kind of fake, but some of it is like this is what society is like. There's colorist girls, there's girls with gaps, there's girls who are bigger, there's girls who are anorexic. Like I went to school with a bunch of white girls that are anorexic. Like this is stuff that's been kind of going on in society already, and I'm just like, it's time. I like how the documentary, though I'm like, what's the purpose? I do like how it kind of like, again, you said highlight the model industry. This is not gonna change the model industry. The models are still starving, the models are still hungry, the dark skinned models are still not making it. It's only gonna be Lupita Nyong'o and who's that girl that dated Kofi Sibro? That's it. Like it's not changing anything. Ducky Thought is a model.
Lupita.
I mean, actor, model, you know what I'm saying?
She's okay. I was like, is she a model? I don't know. I know Ducky.
She's an actress, but you know.
I haven't seen Ducky since 2020.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So it's like at the end of the day, like it just kind of is a microcosm of like what society looks like. And I think what it is that it gets to put society on television and you're like, whoa, society's messed up. But it's like if you're a marginalized girl or a girl who's already like society doesn't look at you, you're already like, sure. I'm a dark skinned girl who's thicker. I'm like, sure. Like this is what life is.
Yeah, I guess I can definitely see that. In elementary school, I don't know how hard it was. I don't know. Like that's why I said I didn't get
it. Was hard for me. I grew up in a white town. So as a dark skinned girl, African girl in a white town, like watching America's Next Top Model wasn't like, whoa, it was more like, yeah. So, some parts of it I was just like, yeah.
I grew up around a lot of white people too. So that's what I'm saying from my perception. I never wanted to be a model. I didn't even know what a model was, honestly. I didn't know, like looking at magazines, those were models. So I guess I'm looking at it from like the ignorant point of like, I didn't even know what a model is. And so if you didn't feel like, I said like, I don't know if I correlated like, dark skin is not that, is not preferred. If I'm watching it, that implicates like beauty standards. Like that's showing me what the beauty standards are. You can't be dark skin, you can't be big, you can't have a gap, you can't have your hair gotta be blonde, white. So I think that part of it, like if you're watching it that young, but I didn't watch it, so I don't know. But it's just like the implications of like the beauty standards and what it does for women mentally and physically, and it just perpetuates. But I guess society is like that, as you're saying.
For sure, like that
in general.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know that that was society in general if I didn't have those experiences.
Yeah.
Why?
That's like I'm saying, like,
So,
not gonna say a lot because we're having a conversation, but like as a black girl, some of those experiences been that like you are one of few, like even think about Ebony, you're one of few black girls in a depending on how
mm,
you grew up, one of few black girls with white girls, and they're gonna say, why is it like this? Why are you like that? Why are you ashy? Why are you doing that? Like those things were all like honestly watching some of these shows, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my life. Like that was my life. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't some of them feels like breakthroughs, but some of them are just confirmations. I don't know. I feel like for me, probably being cynical, it's just like some of them didn't feel like breakthroughs. It just felt like, oh yeah, like that. Yeah, it was reassuring. It was like, oh yeah, no, I've experienced that. Like, oh yeah, no, they've called me Ashy. Oh yeah, like I've
people
been
call
called
me
Ashy.
Ashley. Oh my
No,
goodness.
I didn't get called Ashy, but like maybe I've heard the next black person called Ashy or whatever the case may be. But it's like, oh yeah, that's not new to be called Ashy and how obsessed black people are with lotion. Like I don't play with lotion. Like, I put lotion on my skin. Like I don't play about being ashy and stuff. Or oh yeah, like um, if you're a bigger girl, oh yeah, like some of these conversations it's just like, yeah, that's how it is. Like that's how it feels in
Yeah,
society.
I've heard Ashley. I mean, people don't play up with being Ashley, but I was like, I never heard nobody say that. But I was thinking about like, well, the white girls when I was younger, they'd be like, your skin is so soft. And I'm thinking in my head, like, do you think I'm a dang pet? Why you touching my skin? Like, is your skin not soft?
Exactly, right?
Then tired to be like, well, your skin's supposed to be this, your skin's supposed to be that. Well, if you don't got the right products for me, ma'am, then how my skin gonna be looking right?
Exactly. So that's really what sometimes a lot of the shows, to me, I'll speak for myself. It wasn't breakthroughs or it wasn't like, whoa, but it was more so like I could like, oh, relate to some of these people and be like, oh, I didn't have a gap, but I knew people who had gaps and people would make fun of your gap. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
didn't
I
have a
know
lot of
people
these.
make fun of people's gaps. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I just
you
didn't.
didn't go to school?
No, I did. I feel like I've been in my own world. Like,
Oh, okay,
I
baby.
don't know if I knew that many people with a gap. So I knew people had
Yes,
like I know people had like bad teeth. I'm not saying like I didn't know nothing. Like I know people had like
yes,
bad teeth. People had like okay, for instance, I know people had braces. People will call them like brace face. Like I know
yes.
stuff like that.
Did you know dark skinned people at school too and things like that?
Well, I was dark skinned, but I honestly didn't really get I didn't get made fun of for my skin complexion. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I do some okay, I think like but it would be like boys sometimes or maybe like, oh,
Yeah,
you're dark, like
right? It's
dark.
usually boys. It's not really gonna be well, no, sometimes girls can too.
Yeah, so I don't know, but they be like, oh, if they're messing with you, they like you, like, oh, you're darker, like, oh, you black, but like I never understood that because I always knew my skin was brown, I'm not black, and then you talk about my skin being dark skin, but you're dark skin too, so I just really didn't pay attention to that,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
but I
mean, and you might not paying attention to it, right? Like
for their skin complexion, I do know that. So
yeah. And you may have not paid attention to it as a kid because you're a kid. You don't really know what it all means. But as you get older, you're like, oh, that was a boy calling me like a dark skinned girl saying I'm like I'm undesirable. Because that
yeah,
same boy, did he say he wanted to be your boyfriend? No.
no,
You know what I'm saying? That same boy was not interested in you. And so I think you grow up and you just realize some of these conversations, though in the time you're a kid and it wasn't that deep or you weren't really processing it, you get older and you're like, okay, like those were stuff that they were socialized and they were saying and they were really hurting you because what did it come from? What did it come out to be? Like, did you make friends out of that? No. Did you get a boyfriend out of that? No. Where you kind of isolated and you realize, okay, maybe I only have one or two friends. Yeah, like you kind of realize some of that and you're like, oh, those were messed up situations. While you're 6 years old, 7 years old, you're
Mhm.
just like, oh, on to the next. But then when you get to 27,
Yeah,
26
but
you're
I like when I got older, I definitely understood. Like I could see, like, but that's when it's just like, okay, that's society. That's when like
it gets old, it gets worse as you get older.
yeah,
Because
he's saying this, and it's like, okay, well, I can see you like a red bone girl, you want a light skin girl. Like,
exactly.
girls aren't there, so I can see how I got it. Like I got older, and I could
Mhm.
see that there was like not that much representation of us, but like I wasn't thinking that I was ever ugly because I was a dark skinned girl.
Okay,
So
good. That's good.
yeah,
That's
so that's
good. I
why, like.
wouldn't say that I didn't think that. So that's
Oh,
good.
okay, yeah. I thought maybe like I would say probably I thought that I might not have been as pretty as light skinned girls, maybe because that was the preferred, but I never thought I was ugly because I was dark skinned. I was just like, I look like my mom, I look like my dad. So I
Yeah.
didn't do that. But it could come off different places. And that's why I was just like, I don't really know. But then again, like all my family is darker skin. And I
Yeah.
think it does depend on what you're raised around and who you're raised around.
Yeah.
Because I think it was just like I don't know if I had to build up my own self confidence, but it's like, oh, you don't think that I'm cute because I'm a dark skinned girl? That's your problem. Like, I don't know. I really don't know how the confidence came. I just have it and I just kind of move through with
Yeah,
it.
I think for me it came late. It came later in life. Like that confidence just came later in life, and it's just just having like a lot of those like realizations, and you just reflecting back of what people were saying. You're like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, yeah, like that impacted me in the ways it did. It didn't stop my grind, and I'm who I am today. But it's like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I didn't hear those conversations. No, I heard those conversations, and I'm not gonna say the first time hearing them was on America's Next Top Model. They sure weren't on
Yeah,
America's.
and then also, yeah, so you said like you grew up in a small town. I didn't grow up in like a small town. I was like,
Mhm.
I mean, I was like the only black person like playing volleyball and stuff, but like I wasn't the only black person in my class. I wasn't the only dark skinned girl in my class. So like I feel like it could be different. Like I don't know if you was the only like dark skinned chocolate girl in your class or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
Right. So
I mean, and those experiences could all be different, but when you just kind of grow up, black girl, dark skinned girl, anything like just in society and what society has perpetuated as white being the standard, it don't matter. If you were the 20th black girl in your class,
yeah.
white people was gonna make you feel like you were shit anyway. So
Oh yeah. And see,
it,
I didn't really mess with them. They didn't make me feel like nothing, but except girl, quit touching my hair.
or white people or other black people, like what I'm saying. I'm just saying that all I have
Like
to
in
say to say
general,
is
it's
that
not new, but
yeah, it wasn't
I
new.
could
And me
be oblivious to it because I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, and me watching America's Next Top Model at the end of the day wasn't what like
Uh-huh.
opened my eyes to these conversations. I was just like, oh wow, yeah, like I those experiences that they're having, glad to know other people are having those similar
And
experiences.
maybe if I watched it, I would have probably been more cognizant of it. So
Correct.
it could have been the opposite thing. I
Yeah.
wasn't really cognizant of if people liked me because I was dark skinned or not. At the end of the day, I just knew I was black. Like I knew I was black.
Yeah.
I knew people didn't like black people. That's what I knew, and that's what I chalked it
And I
up to.
knew black for me, I knew black people didn't like black people, so that was mine. And that's why I'm gonna end that conversation because
And black people didn't like. Yes, I was like,
black people.
different things about that. So that's where I think that was that. I don't think that was American Next. Well, it wasn't for me. But like, oh, if I watched it, like now I don't even want to watch it because I'm just like I'm scared of what I'm even gonna see. I don't even want to rewatch. I don't even want to go back and watch to see
Yeah, I mean,
what.
there's certain shows that like I would never, I probably wouldn't go back and watch like Flavor of Love or I Love New York or any of those kind of shows just
Yeah,
because
I never watched.
things. And I was just reading something for class and stuff like things have a memories have a specific time, place, culture thing of it. It's not the same memory. You're not gonna get probably the same nostalgic feeling being a 20, 30 plus year old more educated. You're
Mhm.
just not going to get those same things. So to protect my peace, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna go probably back and watch America's Next Top Model just because I don't really have the desire to. Even like sometimes when I went back in 2020 and I watched like Sister Sister or I watched 101 and a couple other shows, I was like, oh, these are really cute. There were some problematic scenes in them. You know what I'm saying? Like it just the nostalgia that I thought I was gonna get from them. I did get some and I didn't get some, and I don't need to really chase nostalgia at the moment.
yeah, and I was gonna say that's the difference too, because some of these ladies they're talking about it now, like they watch it when they were in college, but now they're like, I'm 30, I have a different perspective. So I was like, maybe if I was in college when the show came out, I probably wouldn't have been watching it. If I was in high school, I probably would have watched it because that's when
Yeah,
I watched
for sure.
Bad Girls in Love. So I would have a different perspective on it. But now I'm like, I'm only seeing what is shown, and that's kind of where I'm going from it there. So that's kind of like how I see the thing. I was gonna try to, like end on a positive.
Listen on a positive.
Because we did, but I was gonna be like, what I was gonna say, I was like, was this a scheme that Todd set up, child? Because why are they doing another cycle? And I was like, I don't know if she knew that. I don't know if Tyra knew what she was getting herself into when she was talking about this documentary. I don't know how they pitched it to her because she was not the EP. I don't know what they said, but she was like, yeah, it was this, and yeah, we're doing this. But I'm like, when you watch it and it comes at the end, I'm like, girl, did you know what you was getting into when you did this whole interview?
So yeah, I've said it throughout this. I was like, I don't know what the purpose was because Tyra is thinking she's having season 25 and they are dogging the ish out of the show. So I don't really know. And like even Ken Mock, right? Like I don't know if he said season 25, but even the way he's trying to persuade the show. So they're definitely told people two different things. They told the models to say one thing and they told Tyra to look at it this way. But I also think some of Tyra's delusions and what she thought too was impacting it. Tyra doesn't want to see herself at fault either, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that's two things. I
She's
think
because they've asked her questions like, "Have you seen Miss J?" And they've asked her different questions in the way she
have you
answered.
spoke to Mr. J? She's like, no. And then they're like, well, do you want to answer some of that? She's like, no, I should call him. They said that she
Exactly. So
no.
Yeah,
I
she's
was like, dang. I think she could be in delusion, but also with the people, they said that they did ask them questions, but like we said, they want to spin a narrative. They asked them questions about the whole experience. They put in what they wanted to put in there. With
exactly.
Tyra, I think they just asked her good things about it because they wanted to have her in there. Like, oh no, she was a part of it. We asked her to be a part of it, but I
Okay.
don't think she really knew what the whole outcome was. So I don't even know
Mm,
if she watched. She's just like, I'm in Australia. I don't know if she was married and that she had a kid.
yeah. Yeah, she is.
I guess she just doesn't post
Mhm.
any of that.
No, I
So,
don't think so. She does. No, I don't think she does. Yeah. So
oh yeah, she doesn't post any of that. And I was like, girl, how did you get to Australia? I'm confused about the Australia thing.
it's
I was
crazy.
just like, okay, do you know Ducky Thought? I'm just playing. But is Ducky Ghanaian? No,
No,
she's
it's
South
South
Sudanese.
Sudanese.
That's what she said.
Mhm.
Kofi's Ghanaian. Ow, that
Mhm.
Okay, okay. But well, we kind of talked about the positive stuff. I'm not trying to say we're going to end it on positive, but we talked about like what, like we was like, what did the show do for people? Like we talked about the Winnie and the Evas and some other girls, but it's just like at the end of the day, there's always like two things could be true at once and different things like that. So I'm just like, I felt like people weren't giving Tyra enough grace, but I don't know the background of it. I don't know. I didn't watch the show. So on one hand, I'm like, where's the grace that she's given? But then to your point, you're like, well, if you have no remorse, then there is no grace. But also somebody's like, she's not going to come out and say she did this, she did that, because they were like, she doesn't want to get sued. So
Right.
it's just like, okay, but it's like, there's one thing to be like, I'm so sorry that this at a time that this was happening, this looked correct, but like as seen now that she did say, she's like, I know things can be wrong, but she's like, just make sure that it was like she kind of gaslight the people. She's like, just make sure that when it's your turn, you're ready.
Exactly. She's yeah.
So
Tyra.
I'm just like, girl, is it gonna be a cycle in Australia? Because I don't know if you're coming back to America.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
That's
what is
crazy.
it gonna be? So I don't know. About that. That's kind of what I thought about the whole thing that I watched. Trying to see if we skipped or we missed anything before we wrap it up. Did you think that we missed anything?
I think we did good. Yeah, I think we did good hitting pretty much all the points of it. So
Yes, we pretty much hit it all. So if you're watching this, if you're on the replay, comment, make sure you like, make sure you let us know where you're listening from. Let us know if you watch America's Next Top Model. Child, that's a lot to say. Let us know what you think about the documentary. I was like, this could be like we could go so much more in depth in it. That I think that you have a whole series on it. I didn't want to do all that, but I will say that if you are watching this till now, this Saturday, the 28th, we are doing a Black Girls Hair Salon, Black Girls in Salon, and we are actually talking about beauty standards, and we're talking about being pretty for a insert whatever your word is for a girl. We're talking about, I hope I'm saying her name wrong, but her name is Gabri Sibide. I think that's her name.
Cabaret Sibere.
Yes, a child. I'm so sorry. I never actually heard her name.
Sabore, I think she said. She
That's
like said correct. I think it was
child.
like Cabaret Sabore. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're just gonna give her that, and
Mhm.
we're gonna talk about her. And she was on this podcast talking about beauty standards and stuff
Was
like
she
that.
on 1514?
Yes, I watched it. One that African podcast. Shout out to the
Yeah,
African.
with Godfrey. Mm-hmm.
Yes, period. And we're going to talk about beauty standards, and that's going to be this Saturday. So it's going to be kind of like a continuation of this episode right here. So if you like stuff like that, make sure you check that out. And then Sunday, we're going to do first Sundays. We're going to be talking about insecure. We're going to talk about friendships and navigating healthy friendships. If you thought the insecure friendships were healthy or toxic. So make sure you subscribe if you like this content, and I will see you. On Wednesday, I will be uploading another episode of Small Town Girl Bigger Dreams. So check that out, subscribe, and stay tuned for all the lives. And thank you so much for joining as
And
well.
yeah, anytime you all, if you want to hear more from me, just go on my Instagram.
The
Nancy.
girl that don't post.
Nancy underscore Adani. And
Period. She be sharing stuff. So
or just be under my DMs. I love to, talk about things. So yeah.
yes, and repost. So yes, hopefully you enjoy this. We'll catch you next time. Black Girls Den is out. Bye. Yes.